thought about health even when I was in high school. So I would ask my mom why she had to put sugar in the spaghetti sauce, or why couldn't she make the rolls completely whole wheat. I started thinking about Whole for Health in 2006 when our church, Marian Mennonite, asked me to teach a class called What the Bible Says About Healthy Living. And in the process of reading the book and teaching the class, I came to the understanding that whole food and God's provision of whole food is part of, is the most important thing to getting better, for people to feel better. There are a lot of books written by doctors about health, so I did a lot of Googling and I read a lot of books, bought a lot of books, lent people books, and started writing a program that has a grocery list. The idea is that people are told, oh, don't eat that, and that is not a very good motivator. So I wanted to be motivating and saying what is good, and that there's a lot of good food, fruits and vegetables and things that are good to eat. And then now that I'm a nursing student, I have access to research, so Medline and PubMed, and so there are a lot of studies. So at this point, I'm pulling out what research says about the same thing, and it says the same thing that I was already reading, but I'm able to put the evidence behind it. The philosophy is that as people in our culture have switched to food that comes from a factory, food that's in a box, then that food that our culture is eating more of in the last 50 years is very high in simple carbohydrates. And then as that has happened, then there's been an enormous increase, epidemic levels of obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and so that's what the research is showing. So you can see it just by the size and shape of the people around us, and the number of people taking insulin on a regular basis. But it's also in the statistics. So the CDC, a lot of agencies that do the statistics and do the studies show that the amount of chronic disease has increased at the same time that our diet has changed, and also some other things. Our exposure to chemicals and toxins has increased. We're more hormonally imbalanced. A lot of things have changed, but diet's the big one. So the philosophy is that if we go back to eating the way our great-great-great-grandparents ate, wonder what happens, and over it works. So the people I work with do get better. One person improves in their digestion, another in weight, and another in other things. I meet with people for about 2 hours when they want to start, and I get a sense of what it is that are their health concerns and how they operate. So some people function more independently. You tell them, give them instructions, they'll go for it, and other people need more help with problem solving or figuring out how to keep themselves moving in a direction. So I wrote an instruction manual for the people that like to learn on their own and from a book, and then after that first 2 hour session, then I talk to people about an hour a week for about 3 months, and give them whatever encouragement. So some people need help with menu planning or finding good recipes that fit eating whole food and that they enjoy. And other people just need a pep talk. They just need for me to say, wow, that's great. Oh, good. Oh, well, maybe you can just drink a little more water this week. And so I personalize to the people. Yeah, I have a picture of a plate, and my plate picture is different than the one the government provides, but somebody that wanted to do this without me, then www.choosemyplate.gov has a plate, and pretty much it's just saying make sure that your carbs are complex carbs like fruit and beans and brown rice and oats, and then make sure that your carbs are no more than a fourth of your plate, where for most Americans they're half to 3/4 of what they eat in a day. So that's one resource that's very helpful to some people. The grocery list is a way of saying what you can go and buy and eat, which helps a lot of people to feel like they have freedom, and so you can eat as much as you want, no limits, no portion sizes, because it's all good food. And then the instruction manual, and then that includes a recipe book. And then beyond that, the most important thing is the support and accountability, that I talk to people and fill in the gaps. Some people just need a pep talk. They just need to hear that, yes, this is hard, and you don't even have to do all of this. You can choose to do this part of it, or wait 5 years and do it later. You don't have to tackle the whole problem now, or yeah. So for instance, somebody who was a soda drinker and is trying to imagine drinking enough water to let their kidneys clean out, that kind of thing, is going to have a hard time figuring out how to drink 3 quarts of water too. So I recommend I don't, healthcare in general recommends 2 to 3 quarts of water to clean out. So a shower on the inside. So with that soda drinker who doesn't drink water, then I'm first getting them off soda, and then getting them on maybe a half cup of water 3 times a day, and then maybe a cup of water. And we just progress slowly, and if they never get to 2 or 3 liters, 2 or 3 quarts, that's fine. But little baby steps. Somebody else maybe has pictures of going to their grandmother's house and cookies and on your birthday cake, and how could you have Thanksgiving without a pumpkin pie? So a lot of it is picturing holidays and special occasions, and having house guests, and trying to figure out how to do it differently that's still special. So imagining, so in some cases it's what worked for someone else. So other clients I have, or maybe for me and my own family, might be helpful just to hear the stories. Whatever you're used to is what your taste buds want more of. So if you're used to really salty corn chips, then your taste buds are going to think that salt-free corn chips are boring. But if you're used to eating low salt, then salt-free or low-salt corn chips are going to taste right, and regular corn chips are going to taste too salty. So people who are used to eating a lot of sugar and flour think that tastes good, but when people convert to whole food, then what happens is they go back to those things they used to eat, and they don't taste good anymore. It's different for every person. So one person doesn't like asparagus, but for some people it might be fresh asparagus. Right now that's what I'm thinking about because it's spring. But it might be fresh green beans or an apple that was grown locally. So part of the trick is that local fruits and vegetables have more natural sugars, and so more natural flavor than the kind from the grocery store. So that's another part of it. I love that people come to me discouraged and feeling poorly, and I love that I can give them something that they can do the rest of their lives that they can afford. It's not a fancy gimmick, it's very simple, and people then feel better. So that is very gratifying.